Some of you are just starting to learn, and you might go into a music store and you might be kind of overwhelmed with everything that you see there. Like tons of beautiful guitars that are expensive, lots of accessories and toys, and you're just kind of overwhelmed, kind of thinking like, "Oh man, where do I start?" Well, I'm going to give you a great starting point here tonight, and just to help you out, so that you can make the right decisions and make the best choices for the less amount of money. Sometimes you go into these stores and they try to sell you all kinds of crazy stuff that you don't need. So hopefully I'm going to cut that down for you, and you can get pointed in the right direction. All right. So the first thing you need, let's bring it up here, is a guitar. And the best guitar to buy that I've seen is a Yamaha FG 800. Man, amazing guitar, beautiful instrument. My friend just bought one a couple months ago, and I went into the store and I asked the salesman, "What beginner guitar can you recommend?" He said, "Check out this guitar." So I did, and man, I was blown away. This thing is so nice and made just such good quality instrument that you will never need another guitar after you buy this one. And what you want to look for when you're buying a guitar is this top flat piece of wood here. So I'll zoom in. See this the flat top, the flat piece of wood, the lighter brown kind of yellow color. That is the top. It's called the soundboard. And you want that piece of wood to be solid, okay? So they're usually made of spruce or cedar. And this Yamaha particular one is made of spruce. It's a solid spruce top. And that's the number one thing I look for. This is the number one thing you're going to learn tonight too, is getting a guitar with a solid top. And the reason for that is that a solid top just resonates better and gives the guitar kind of like a life. So for example, if you play hard, the guitar will be louder and sound big and loud. And if you play quiet, it'll be quieter. So the wood gives the guitar like lots of dynamics and just gives you a really punchy, like nice punchy tone. And you might be thinking, well, like, how do you know if it's a solid piece of wood? Well, it'll say that it's solid because it's a big deal. And it will usually say on the price tag or whatever that it's solid spruce. And if you look at the guitar and you look right in the sound hole here along the edges, you'll see the grains of the wood going through that whole piece of wood. So you'll see the grains running right through it if you look on an angle like that. And that's how you know if it's solid wood as well. And yeah, so I highly recommend this guitar. Or if you can't find this one, any guitar that's solid solid top. But the reason why I picked this guitar, because it's the cheapest guitar I've ever seen with this much quality. If you go to Amazon in Canada, it's $299. It was $269, but all the prices have rose. And if you go to Sweetwater in the States, it's listed for $229. That is the cheapest I've ever seen solid top guitar that's this nice. And the craftsmanship is really nice too. Like, it's got this tortoise pick guard, really nice tortoise pick guard, and just really fine appointments. Like, just feels great in your hands too, like. But yeah, really fine quality appointments and really nice. So yeah, highly recommend that one. And if you're buying for like your child or a kid and you don't care as much about the solid top, the second one I would recommend, second option, is this one. It's the Yamaha F325D. And this one, I'll zoom in here. It's great guitar. I have a student actually that plays this guitar as well, and it sounds great. Man, just another awesome guitar. And the only difference is this one, the top piece of wood, and this one is not solid. It's actually laminate. So meaning like there's pressed wood like laid on top of each other. So it's not this solid solid top. So it still sounds great, and you wouldn't really notice a big difference if you're just starting out. It just, the only thing is like it doesn't have that like a really potent dynamics that the other one has. So I mean, you can strum hard, strum easy, and it's still sort of the same, kind of the same level of sound. But yeah, just not as punchy, but still an awesome option. Number 2, if you don't want to spend as much money, and it's $229 on Amazon. Another reason why I like the Yamaha guitars is, we'll go back to our favorite one here, is the neck is really kind of a bit smaller. So if you're young, like if your child is playing, or if you're just getting into it, the neck is a lot easier to deal with. So you can get your hand around it, and you can press the strings down a lot easier because it's a smaller grip. And yeah, it just makes it easier, that much easier to play. Okay, so yeah, there you go. The best beginner guitar that I have ever seen, Yamaha FG800. And I've actually played it too, and I really like it. I'd buy it myself if I had the money. Okay, so then we got our second one. So next thing we want to look at when you're playing the guitar and just getting into it is the strings. Okay, so at some point you're going to want to change your strings. I would recommend changing your strings after about 6 months of playing it, just because they're going to get dirty and they're going to start kind of corroding. They're going to lose their punchy sound, their vibrancy. They're going to get kind of dull sounding. And, like the oil from your hands can kind of slow them down, corrode them, and they just get kind of dull sounding. So yeah, you want to change your strings about every 6 months. And I highly recommend these Elixir strings. And the reason why I picked these, because they have like a special coating on them. They call it nanoweb coating, but it's just like a kind of a special coating that protects the string and protects the life of the string. So it keeps them sounding fresh and crisp and vibrant for a lot longer than normal, than if you had like just normal strings without the coating. Okay. So, yeah, check those out. They're $21.99 on Amazon Canada, and in the States, I think Sweetwater has them for $18.51. But actually, a lot of companies now are putting out coated strings. Like Martin has a set that you can get, and I think they're even a bit cheaper. So yeah, just look for any coated guitar string that is a good price range for you, and the coating just helps them last longer. I've had coated strings on for quite a long time, and they still sound great. And if you're buying strings, at some point you will need them. I recommend 12 gauge. And this seems like the perfect size. The gauge is the size of the string. 12 gauge seems like the perfect size because they'll still sound great and sound big enough. But then they're not too easy to press. They're not too hard to press down. If you get into the 13s and 14s, they're just too heavy. Like they just feel too heavy, too hard to push down, and they start to hurt your hands. So 12 gauge is the perfect size. And they call that light gauge. And then if you want to get scientific, it's like actually 0.12 millimeters, I think. So just say 12 gauge and they'll know what you're talking about. All right. So yeah, those strings, coated strings by Elixir. Next thing you're going to need is a tuner, because you're going to want to tune your guitar every time you play it, because guitars go to tune really easy. And the humidity, the weather, you might bump it, knock it off the wall when you're walking around. You might drop it on the floor. So it might kind of knock it out of tune, okay? Don't drop it on the floor. So you want a tuner. And this is a tuner I use all the time. It's called the Guitar Toolkit. And it's actually an app for your phone. Can you believe that? An app for your phone. When I was young, when I was learning how to play, I had to carry this big honking tuner around with me that was plastic, and I'd drop it and I'd lose it. And hey Rose, thanks for joining me. Yeah, I'd lose it. So you don't want to be carrying extra stuff around with you if you don't need to. So Guitar Toolkit is the way to go. So it's an app for your phone, and it's really good. It's really accurate, super accurate. When you're in tune, the light turns green and the pointer sticks straight up in the air or straight up in the app. So yeah, and it's really accurate. I use it all the time. I've been using it for years, actually. And the cool thing about the app is it actually has other stuff in it too. It has scales. You can learn scales. It has a metronome, built-in metronome. Can you hear that? So if you want to practice with a metronome, and it has chords. Oh, now the metronome will stop. Stop. Has chords, and you can hear them. You can strum the chords, and it'll sound like a chord. Okay, so you can learn chords that way too, and you can also tune other instruments. You can tune like banjo. You can tune 12-string guitar, bass. It'll tune basses, 5 and 6-string basses. It'll tune a banjo, mandolin, and a ukulele. So it'll basically give you the string layout for those instruments, and you can tune with that. Yeah, great tuner, and I highly recommend. I bought it when it was like $10.99. Now it's under $5. So there's a bonus for you. What else is there? I'm not being sponsored by any of this stuff. This is just stuff, the cheapest stuff I can find to help you get started with the accessories that you need to play the guitar. Okay, tuner. Oh yeah, there's another tuner. If you're not into phones and you don't carry a phone around with you, I recommend this tuner. It's called a Snark tuner, Snark chromatic tuner, Snarky. And it clips right on the end of your guitar, and it senses the vibrations of the instrument, and it gives you a readout of your note. So once again, if you're in tune, that line will stand straight up. It'll color in that center line there. And my father has one. He loves it. And I know a few people that have them. Sense the vibrations. They're $24.99 in Canada, so probably cheaper in the States if you're watching from there. Yeah, so if you don't want a phone tuner, this is the second best thing. And they have great reviews on Amazon. All right. So let's move on. What do you need next? What do you think it is? Any guesses? I would say picks are the next important thing to look at. And you'd be like, well, what kind of pick should I get? I'm in the music store. There's a whole counter display of picks. There's pink ones and green ones and yellow ones and red ones and all different companies. And I don't know what to do. So I would highly recommend these orange Dunlop picks. Well, they're called Tortex picks made by Dunlop. And they're the perfect size, I think, for a beginner player because they're not too heavy, not too thick. They're great for strumming. And when you're learning the guitar, you're going to be strumming most of the time. That's what you're going to be working on. So great for strumming. Also good for picking too as a beginner. And they're 6.6 millimeters. And they come with a really cool kind of coating on them, like a white, they feel like a little bit of a white powder substance on them. And it helps grip your hand. And it's crazy. They just feel so good in your hand, and they're grippy, and they sound good too, actually. So yeah, orange Tortex picks. And once you get into like my friend, he's a big producer in Toronto. He still uses these orange ones. But once you get into more picking, I find like they can kind of be a little flappy for that. So I use the yellow Tortex all the time. That's the perfect medium for picking and strumming once you get more advanced. But for now, I'd stick with the orange ones. Once you get into picking, you can move up to the yellow ones. But yeah, orange and yellow will suit your needs. All right. Okay, let's look on here. And next we have a couple of extras that I threw in just to help you out. So picks are pretty cheap. So I didn't include the price there. Sorry. So a few extras there that you want if you're advancing along and you want to spend a bit of money. These are good options. So I recommend getting a guitar stand because you want your guitar to be easy to grab, easy to get at, and you want to leave it in the stand. You don't want it to be in a case under your bed because you're never going to take it out. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Okay. If your guitar is in a stand and you see it all the time, you're going to walk by and you're going to pick it up just like that. Okay. Easy to grab. So I recommend these Hercules stands. I got one right here. And man, they're nice, really high quality. They're heavy duty. Yeah. And they're tight. They hold your guitar nice and tight. It's not going to fall over. They're just really cool. And they look good. And they're a little pricey though. So maybe a Christmas present or a birthday present. They're about $43 Canadian. Okay. So that's that. And then the stand. And then capos, if you're starting to get more advanced and you're interested in capos, I recommend these Shub capos. Really nice. And I like them because they're just so slim and small and they just pop right on there. And you can adjust the tightness of them. And like, you can't even really see that it's there. Like, I mean, you don't want this big honking clothespin, right? You just want this slim capo that you can't even see. And they're nice and tight and they're super solid, heavy duty. They're a little pricey. I've seen them on sale though, and this one is $39.99. They look expensive for the size, but once you buy one, you're not going to need anything else, so you'll have it forever. Okay. And then last thing is a guitar strap. If you're adventuring out and you want to start standing up and you're getting crazy, you want to buy a strap. So I recommend these leather straps. And the reason for that is that the leather strap will grip your shoulder and the guitar will stay in its correct position when you put it on. So it's kind of like Velcro. The strap will just stick to you and the guitar won't slide. I've had a nylon strap before and the guitar, I'd be standing there and the guitar would go like that. And you don't want to be holding up a guitar with this hand while you're playing, right? I'll show you here. Yeah. Okay. You don't want to be strumming and holding it at the same time. You just want to be able to take your hand away and it stays, right? Well, a leather strap will do that for you. I don't have mine here, but it's in my case somewhere. Okay. So there's a strap. Leather is a little expensive. There's one for $59.66 I found on Amazon. Yeah. But that's the main thing. That's all the things you're going to need when you're starting. Okay. So you need a great guitar with a solid top. Let's go a quick review. You're going to need a great guitar with a solid top. I recommend Yamaha FG800. Nice, easy price there, $299. If you're American, it's even cheaper. Another option, $229. Still sounds great. You're going to need strings. I recommend coated ones, 12 gauge. Those ones. You're going to need a nice tuner. Get the app or do the snarky tuner. And because you're going to want to tune your guitar all the time, every time you pick it up. And picks, I recommend Orange Tortex. And a few things here, stand, keep your guitar in a stand, capo, and a leather strap. You're off to the races. There's no excuses. Now you can play and get practicing. If you want to learn more, I have a course, in-depth guitar workshop that you can get from my link down below. Tell your friends, learn guitar, find a friend, learn with, have fun, and learn songs on the radio. It's the most fun you're ever going to have. Play at the campfire in this summer, learn some campfire songs. It's 20 minutes, 20-minute guitar player where time is up.